Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going through a Twitter feed and it's at the sun vanished. So basically it starts on April 30th, 2018 and he simply tweets, "Help. It's late in the morning and still dark outside. I can hear the tornado sirens in the next county over, but the weather radar is clear. Where is the sun?" Then he posts this video.
This afternoon, panic is taking hold on the nation in response to the sudden disappearance of the sun, with violent riots taking place in just about every major city. We are receiving an influx of reports of ransacking and looting from New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, and Washington, D.C., with hundreds more isolated incidents coming in hourly. The president made a public statement this morning urging people to remain calm and stay in their homes. Meanwhile, experts are claiming this phenomenon to be an event similar to New England's Dark Day in 1780, and that things will return back to normal.
So I post that video of obviously the news saying to keep calm and stay calm. And then he tweets, "The power keeps going out and I keep hearing noises outside, sometimes far away, sometimes close." And then he posts this video. And that appears to be helicopters, because you can see the flashing lights. And then he says, "I can't sleep. I think the noises outside are gunshots." And then this is May 1st. He says, "It is still dark. The news said it wouldn't be back to normal. Said it would be back to normal by now, but it isn't." Then he posts this picture where it says, "Now the news isn't even coming in." Then he says, "TV signal is gone. The noise keep happening outside. And I can barely keep track of the time anymore. I'm honest to gosh terrified." And then he does a poll. He says, "I am so tempted to go outside. Should I?" And 77% of people said yes. He says, "I went outside. I saw something out there I can't really explain, but I can show you." He posts this video. And then some people claim to see a face in that red flashing light. I didn't personally see it, but it's strange. Then he says, "I looked for stars or planets as well as suggested. The sky was absolutely pitch black. Could be because of clouds or something else," he says. And then he says, "Still shaken from the short time I was outside. I don't know what that flashing light was, but it was following me." Day 3, still no sign of daylight. It is getting colder. "A person just ran by on my street. 2 of the same flashing lights I saw yesterday were following him. They were gone by the time I got my phone out to record. Sorry everyone, reception went out yesterday. I was worried it wouldn't come back on." And then on May 3rd as well, "No sign of activity outside. Come to think of it, it's been a while since I heard a gunshot." Then he posts this, "Something just flew over my house." Then he says, "I couldn't see it, too dark outside, but a wave of heat just came over me. Feels like the temperature increased by like 10 or 15 degrees. Just compared the sound of this video to the sound of the helicopter footage I posted a few days ago. Whatever this was, it was definitely not a helicopter." Then he says, "Oh, thank goodness, one of my friends is still alive. He just texted me." And then he posts this, and he says, his friend says, "Dude, please tell me you're still alive." He says, "Yes, I'm alive. Where the heck have you been? Why did it take you this long to reach me after I called you like 40 times? I'm sorry, but my phone was dead, and I was just now able to start charging it. You're still at your house, right? And he says, yes. And he says, okay, good. I'm still 2 days drive away, but I'm coming to you. And so then he says, I'm not really sure if that's a good idea or not. And his friend says, why? He says, what have you seen? His friend says, lol, dude, you have no freaking idea. And he says, now we have another problem. Post this picture. And if you can tell, there's a person standing on his front sidewalk. And he says to this, he says, this guy has been standing completely still with his back towards me. I have no idea how long he's been standing there. He's still standing there, hasn't moved. Then he sends that picture to his friend, and his friend says, get away from the window, keep all lights off, do not talk to them or let them in, and if you see any flashing lights, hide. Then he says, whoever was standing outside is gone now. Then all he simply tweets is shiz, and this is what you hear. And he says, to those of you asking, I'm doing alright, hiding in my room and waiting this out. Then on May 4th, he says, I haven't heard any more knocking, but I don't want to get anywhere near the front door to check. Then he says, and don't worry, I have a way to defend myself if worse comes to worse. And it's a picture of a bat. Then he says, if anyone knows anything about what is going on, please message me. 911 and other emergency lines are not responding, and the only radio I have is out in the car. So I'm trying to gather as much information online as I can. And then he gets a message. It says, hey brother, I am from British Columbia. I don't know much, but I do know that you should never look into the red light. Ever. If you do, become like the guy who was at your door. And then he gets this where someone tweeted him at the sun vanishes. I don't get it. It's sunny where I am. And he says, to be completely honest, I have no idea how to explain this. And then he gets this text from his friend. So I have good news and bad news. Good news is I'm closer to you now. Bad news is I'm out of fuel. There are no active gas stations anywhere close to me. All the power is down, and all the gas stations nearby are electric gas pump. And he says, oh no. And then he says, how far away are you? And his friend says, probably still 8 or 9 hours away. And he says, he isn't even close. And then he says, I'm really conflicted. Some of you say I should go. Some of you say I should stay. What should I do? And 54% of people said, stay safe at home. And he said, someone is screaming outside. And then he says, I'm really not sure about leaving now. And then he gets these tweets that say, after hearing that, traveling at all seems like a terrible idea. Well, if you're thinking of driving 8 hours before, I think your answer is quite clear now. And this person says, clearly you need to stay where you are. Forget about leaving your friend, though should try to make it to you since he's already out and about. Ask him how he's avoiding detection. So then he texts his friend and says, how are you avoiding detection? He says, I'm just staying in the car. It's locked and off. After I catch a few winks, I'm going to try to take a look around. Alright, stay safe. Always, bud. You too. And then he says, it's been really quiet today. Notice it warmed up after that thing flew over my house again last night. Then he says, his friend texts and say, don't worry about me, dude. I'll find a way to get to you eventually. I walked around for a couple hours and haven't seen anyone, human or otherwise, on the highway, so I'm pretty sure I'll be safe here while I figure out what to do. He says, do you have enough food and supplies? Yeah, I have enough even if I'm stranded here for a while. Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself. He says, I'm really surprised the power has stayed on for this long. Only a few outages here and there, but I'm still extremely paranoid that it will go out permanently any time now. You all have been bringing up the solar lights outside. They actually aren't solar. I have them on a timer outside, and I can't turn them off without leaving the house. I feel exhausted all the time. I think my internal clock is completely screwed up. I can see a faint light outside my bedroom window. Going downstairs to check it out, and he gets this video. And then he says, I cannot freaking believe I'm still alive. And then he gets this text. It says, you didn't look directly into the red light. And he says, yes. You are absolutely sure. Yeah, I'm sure. What street did both of us live on when we were kids? Why? Answer the question. Fraser Road? Okay, we are good. Dang it, don't scare me like that. And then his friend texts him this picture that says, beware of headlights. I was looking around and just found this. No earthly idea what it means. And then he says, sometimes I feel like I have a good handle on this whole situation, and am thinking rationally and logically, but other times I feel like bawling. Day 9. Sorry about that tweet last. Wait, I'm currently in touch with a couple of people with some experience and some info on what's going on. Details soon. And then he gets this text. It says, so to give you some background, my name is Tucker. I live in Virginia. I was working a night shift when all of this shenanigans went down. Just about to clock out for the day when I realized that the sun wasn't up, like it normally was when I clocked out. I kind of shrugged it off at first, but after a few hours, I was getting really worried. I live close to a relatively large city, so you can imagine what I had to go through when the riots started. Long story short, when I was heading out of town to get away from the mess, I met this guy named Flynn, who was talking about these things that hunt people down. At this point, I don't believe him, but I started to notice that the crowds and traffic congestion on highways started slowly dissipating. Before you know it, the roads were completely empty. Terrifying. Flynn and I started traveling together after that. We had been finding dark places to hide, enough food and water to stay alive. We were doing pretty good for the first week, but then, just a few days ago, he came back inside after taking a leak and started losing it. He kept going on and on, just talking nonsense. It went on for days, and I was worried that all the stress from his situation got to him. But one day it all stopped, and he wouldn't speak, wouldn't even acknowledge me. He just stood there like a statue for probably a full 12 hours. Then he attacked me out of nowhere. I tried to keep away, but he just wouldn't stop. I had to stop him. There was nothing else I could do. Anyway, I've been living on my own for the past couple of days. It's been tough, but thankfully I found an area with power and internet, which is why I can talk to you. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm sorry to hear about Flynn. Please share my story. I want people to know about what happened. And then, at the sun vanishes, says, of course. And then he says, while I've been trying to collect info online, I completely forgot to check in on Day and yesterday. He still hasn't responded to any of my texts. I am hearing noises outside again, and he gets this video. And that's where I'm going to end this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you guys want me to make a part 2 to this, and we can continue the story all the way till now. Anyway, please leave a like, comment, subscribe.